2, 3. On the first day of January 1892, they opened Ellis Island and they let the people through. And the first to cross the threshold of that isle of hope and tears was Annie Moore from Ireland, who was all of 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fear. But it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, Isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. In a little bag she carried all her past and history, and her dreams for the future in that land of liberty. And courage is a passport when your old world disappears. But there's no future in the past when you're 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fear. But it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, Isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. When they closed down Ellis Island in 1943, 17 million people had come there for sanctuary. And in springtime when I went there and I stepped onto its piers, I thought of how it must have been when you're just 15 years. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fears. But it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, Isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. Isle of hope, Isle of tears, Isle of freedom, Isle of fear. But it's not the isle you left behind. That isle of hunger, Isle of pain, isle you'll never see again. But the isle of home is always on your mind. But the isle of home is always on your mind. Thank you.
Thanks much.
Gotta have a little applause. So, yeah. So let's talk a little bit. It's nice to have you guys in. So, Wolf, you've been doing folk and acoustic music for a while, and has Celtic always been in your footprint as well?
Actually, not quite.
Not
What
much?
put it in my footprint was living in Scotland for 3 years during junior high. I'm what you call a semiconductor brat. So I moved around every 3 or 4 years growing up, not because my dad was in the military, but because he worked for Motorola.
Yeah,
He's responsible for all the chips and all the wonderful things we have here today. And they opened up a brand new semiconductor plant in a place called East Kilbride, Scotland. And there are many lovely places in Scotland that are beautiful and have great scenery and wildlife and cuisine. Well, who am I kidding? Not so much the cuisine, but wonderful, wonderful places that you would want to visit. East Kilbride is not one of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Industrial?
It is kind of like the Cleveland of Scotland.
Oh.
No offense to people from Cleveland.
I kind of like Cleveland, actually.
Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's stick a pin in that. We'll come back to that. Okay, Zena? Anyway, so that's how I got introduced to the Scottish culture and history, and the fact that they're singing songs, actively singing songs from 1300, 1400, the 13 and 1400s about these battles. These guys can really hold a grudge. And, and there's great Scots history there, and there are these many huge battles these pitched battles they fought with their arch enemies, the Scots, and it just fascinated me in the fact that being from America, the oldest thing we had was probably like Yankee Doodle, which was only a couple hundred years old. So that really fascinated me, and having heard things like Peter, Paul and Mary and Pete Seeger and the Weavers and things like that growing up, I was exposed to the great folk scare of the 60s, and so here's another angle of that. So that's how I got into that, but how did you guys get into it?
Marty?
Marty
Smith?
Yeah, so I don't know really how, it was just kind of I was in high school. I had heard a couple bands play. My route in was flat picking the guitar, and I just kind of learned some tunes, bluegrass mostly. I heard somebody playing a hammered dulcimer. It was Doug Birch, actually, a guy from Colorado, and I had no idea what it was. So I got a mountain dulcimer and a hammered dulcimer, and that kind of was just my slow way in, slow route in, and just kind of went from there. But long story short, that's some.
And you've been a fixture forever on the session scene. I know this.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, we can talk now.
Bands.
Yeah. I do go to sessions every now and then. I like this kind of setting better, where it's a little quieter and a little. But I've been around.
He likes to be the center of attention.
No, I like to support the center of attention.
That would be you, Wolf. Just so you know.
The off center of attention.
And then Zena Lee on fiddle? What's your story?
Probably, I came to it because I played the viola in high school, and when my Irish dance teacher, Molly Bennett, discovered that I had done so, she handed me a fiddle and said, "I always need a fiddler on St. Patrick's Day." Okay, and that's how I sort of got into the whole thing. So, because I certainly don't even look Irish.
True.
Now that you mention it.
And then Dirk.
But didn't you say that you came from the far
Very
eastern
part of the
far
Irish.
eastern part of Ireland?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, and it's Dirk Mavis, just so you know.
Yeah.
Mavis.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I have my very German father gave me that name. I was born in Boulder, though. My stepfather was the one who introduced me to Irish music, though. So, and I grew up listening to the Chieftains, and I listened to Silly Wizard, a Scottish band, and loved them. And so, but I didn't really start playing Irish music till I got married to my wife Debbie, and we were out on our honeymoon, and I was playing in a jazz band when we were dating, but during the honeymoon she admitted to me that she didn't really like jazz, so but we
She
both
waited till the
discovered that
honeymoon, at least.
well, yeah, right.
We're still waiting for him to play saxophone on tunes, but it hasn't
I'm gonna
happened
pick
yet.
it up. Yeah, my son's been playing saxophone. So, but yeah, we're gonna we discovered that we both love Irish, and I think we stopped at a gas station in Telluride and asked them if they had any Irish music CDs. And the gas station attendant looked at me like I was nuts and handed me one of the best CDs I've ever heard, which is L10, The First 10 Years.
Oh, wow.
And we listened to that for the whole honeymoon. And
Perfect.
You could
anyway,
probably go to 100 gas stations and ask the same question, and you'll never get an Irish.
But it was,
it was
Telluride.
serendipity.
It was
Yeah.
Telluride, so what would you expect?
Right, well,
Speaking
he's
of,
got it.
speaking of serendipity.
Oh, there it is.
There it
Well,
is.
we got some donations to the station, and one of them is Alton, The First 10 Years.
That's
That's
right.
our
Yes,
CD,
it's a great
so-
It is one of the, probably the very best
Yeah.
albums ever put out
Yeah.
of Irish music.
Yep, good stuff.
Great.
So how long has this particular collection of musicians been
A couple days.
What time is it?
What time is it?
fresh?
Well, so this kind of came about. I mean, I've known these particular individuals at least before the pandemic, in the early times. You know, back in the
before
late
times, yes.
1900s. Not quite that long, but I moved here in 2016 to Longmont, and I wanted to get involved with the local music scene, and I knew or met these people at that time, but then I had these other things like, you know, a day job and children and mouths to feed, things like that. So it took up time, and while they were making their own little inways in the local scene, I was sort of not. And so I finally decided it was time to make a statement. So started recording a solo album, and it was due to sweep across this great nation of ours with this great marketing campaign, and the release date was March 1st of 2020.
Perfect day, perfect time, perfect. Yes.
So we've made up for lost time. Actually, we're probably we should have been here 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Finally getting together and making some beautiful noise together, and it's wonderful to not just be sitting in my room by myself with a Facebook stream on, which I've been doing for the last 3 years, which is actually going over here as well, and actually, you know, rub my molecules and exchange air with real people in meat space and
Yes.
make music together. So
Yeah. It's a good year for that. I noticed that, I mean, my March schedule is about 3 times busier than it was last March.
I'm so delighted to hear
And-
that.
And that
That's
is
great news.
awesome. Like, really, really excited for all of that stuff that's going on. As my listeners know too. I've been touting all the shows I can think of. Anyway,
Cool.
yeah.
I remember when you actually messaged me to say, "Hey, I'm new in town," and then COVID happened. I was like,
Was that on
"Okay."
that special website?
Special
Oh, no, never mind. We'll talk about that.
family show?
Seeking hot background players.
All right. Another piece of music, you think?
Sure, why not? We are musicians after all. Set of tunes. What do you call this set of tunes?
Lads of Leash.
All right.
Something else and something else.
And something else. It's Lads of Leash, The Long Drop, which is actually a tune that was written by a friend of mine, and a very interesting tune, I Lay Rent, which is written by an uilleann piper who lives on the Isle of Skye. So you've got both the Irish influence there and the Scottish influence there. Well, Skye.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah, sort of there. Yeah.
From America, that's considered pretty close. So.
take a quick break, take care of some station business, and we'll be right back for more chat.
Nice.
It was fun.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
We're halfway through that there's a point right here. I'm like,
You okay? Did you get your elbow or?
Kinda. I mean, I kind of bumped my bow, and
Oh,
you might have heard a squeak.
I heard squeaks over here, but that's okay. That's normal.
Carlton Weaver.
Yeah. Did you say beer? Oh, Weaver.
All right, 5 seconds. All right, there we are, back. Welcome. So, all right, that was fun. So, so you guys, I believe, are headed off to the North Texas Irish Festival,
Correct.
and that's fun. That's I was telling these folks earlier that was one of the festivals that really drove my education of Celtic music and pulled me in. So
That's cool.
moving out to California accelerated that greatly.
That's great, yeah.
Because I could actually listen to Thistle and Shamrock and other things on the regular, which I
Yeah.
couldn't do in Dallas.
Great
But-
program.
North
Yeah.
Texas is, that Irish festival you're not the only one. It is
Yeah.
the granddaddy of a great many festivals. And
Yeah.
as long as I can remember, everybody I've known here has always been, are you going to North Texas? Are you
Yeah.
going to North Texas? Are you going to North Texas? So I'm
Yeah,
pleased to be
interesting.
actually making it there. It's my first time.
Oh, yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I lived, I was kind of born and raised in Central Texas. That's my
Yeah.
de facto hometown area.
Yeah.
And so I've been playing that festival off and on, mostly on, almost every year since about 1993.
Nice. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful festival put on by these wonderful, wonderful volunteers. It's all volunteer run.
Yeah.
And it's the reason that it's like, oh, people actually, there's an audience for this kind of music. I love this kind of music. I didn't know that anybody else really liked it or knew
Yeah.
what it was about.
Yeah.
So being able to rub elbows with, about I think it's I can't remember the actual numbers, so I'm not going to state a number, but it's in the tens of thousands of people over a 3-day weekend,
Mhm.
and people who are passionate about this culture and this music and the dance and the food and the dogs and the stormtroopers. It's just a wonderful, wonderful thing, and to be able to now be making my home in Colorado and taking this lovely group of reprobates with me back to triumphantly return home and
Yeah.
play this festival. I'm really, really looking forward to it.
No, that's great. And actually, I was probably found the festival myself in '91 or '92.
Oh, okay. Yeah, great.
Nice. Yep. When I lived there, I don't always admit that I lived in Dallas, but that was one of the good things that was certainly a thing.
But when I do, I
Yeah.
tell them I lived in the good part.
Which would that be?
Deep Element.
Yeah, well, and actually, it's interesting. We're actually, there is an event which you might be interested in attending. We'd love to see you there. It's on Leap Day, the 29th, this Thursday, and I'll be playing some tunes with my very good friend Kathleen Jackson at the All Good Cafe. And not all of you will be there, but some of you will, right? Is that true?
Everybody
Right.
but Marty.
I
Marty's not going to
Yeah.
be here, that's right. He's going to be waiting in the limo.
Yeah. The getaway vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's like it's a pre North Texas Irish Festival kickoff event that I'm delighted to get the opportunity to play, and so I'll make some noise then, and then we're playing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice. Very good. Well, I hope that goes really well. I think it will. I mean, you guys sound good, and like that's not a surprise to me either, of course.
But
Yes.
because it is a live
getting
sort of
there.
thing, not on the radio, we will have to wear pants for that.
Okay.
I think they have a waiver they make us sign there too.
Yeah, probably.
Is that what you're wearing under your kilt?
Yeah.
Nothing worn, all fully operational.
Yeah. All right. One more piece.
Sure, we'd love to. Can you sing about the demon drink on public radio?
Yes.
Okay,
I mean, we play Irish music.
that's true. Well, this is a kind of a popular song. There's very different versions of this. There's a very popular version done by the Dubliners and the Clancy Brothers and stuff like that. This one actually, this version comes from Scotland, from Glasgow in the Calton Weaving District, which was one of the first places to have a workers' movement, you know, that they actually stood up for their rights as workers. It was, of course, brutally put down by the military, but there's really not a happy ending to that one, I'm sorry. But I guess maybe that's why they drank whiskey, because it's a tender love ballad about alcoholism. So, 2, 3. Silver in my pockets, and our gang follow the roving trees. Whiskey, whiskey, that's whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, that's you. I came in I chanced to smell, so I went in and I sat down beside her. 7 long years I hate her well. Whiskey, whiskey, that's whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, that's you. The more she smiled, soon I forgot all my mother's people. That's whiskey, I feel it. Whiskey, whiskey, that's whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, that's you. butterflies fly, you make more calls and bright it as a rolling voice. Whiskey, whiskey, that's whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, that's your last chance. Whiskey, whiskey, that's whiskey. Whiskey, whiskey, that's your.
All right, fun.
Flashy ending.
Good stuff. You've been listening to Wolf Lusher and the Growlers. That's Wolf Lusher on vocals, percussion, guitar, and bouzouki. Marty Smith on bouzouki and vocals. Zena Lee on fiddle. And Dirk Nervis on whistles, uilleann pipes, and vocals. Great to have you guys in. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. We hope to come back
Trip-
again soon.
I hope your North Texas Irish Festival trip is just loads and loads of fun.
Well, we're shooting for 0 fatalities this time around.
That'd be nice, yeah.
That would be a good start, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good stuff. I am going to go to music now, and we've got some stuff from the band Vishten. Of course, a few years ago they lost their accordion player, but they've been doing a lot of collaboration with people, and we're going to hear a couple of tracks that they've done, and the first one I'm particularly taken with, Vishten on KRFC.
Nice.
Thanks, Fred.
Thank you so much, Rob.
All right,
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
Let's get this started here. Hello.
that was a
Towards
fun
the end
time.
of that, I've lost track.
Alright.
How many times have I done
I
this to you now?
thought it was in the end of 2, but I didn't. I was like, maybe
I wasn't sure. And I wasn't ready to let it go.
That was fine, you know.
We're
Gotta be
finished
able
when
to
I
go
say
with the
we're
roll with it. We need to roll with it, you know.
Yeah, well, I thought it was still pretty solid. And
Thanks a lot for having us. You know,
Yeah.
It was a really fun time.
To have something more going on in the studio. Yeah, I come in, especially a day like today. So every other week, there's a live program. It's like this. It's dark when I come in. Dark now.
Yeah.
Turn it over to automation.
Yeah.
And I don't see anybody. So it's kind of fun to actually have something going on.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, thanks again. You know, if you want to do another one sometime, it would be fun. So, thanks again. Good to see you. Great show, too. Hey, is this streamed? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's streamed, and I'm getting a recording of it. And I'm also going to say something off the automatic station.
Oh, okay.
I'll bring that, I'll say.
Are you giving these away or?
No, they're new for the
They're
library.
for the library. Yeah, you should play that.
We didn't have this yet. I thought,
You didn't have that? Gosh, play it. I mean,
I got several that are all ten, and there's some overlap, but there's also some stuff that I didn't have before.
I was very much taken by Frankie's, Frankie Kennedy's flute playing. And man, when I found out that he had passed away, I was so devastated. And then, but you know, still, Elton is one of my favorite bands in the world, and they bring people. I'm thinking I want to go on their Atlantic tour sometime. They're really cool. Yeah, they play a lot here in Colorado. They're here a lot. So. I'm also a big fan of the listeners.
Oh yeah, it's on Long Street.
Yeah, well, they're going to be in Steamboat and Breckenridge the 2 days before that too. So yeah, so we're trying to figure out. Well, we're going to go see him. Yeah.
He's great. Yes. Yeah, I've heard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in fact, I played
All right, so we have one extra chair. Oh yeah. Probably do some recording very soon. Son's studying music, recording arts at CU Denver. And he gets a live